This is AMIT NATH, and I am the founder and business catalyst and a mentor closer. I teach people about how to close deals over phone call, over one-to-one meetings, and on platform. So these are the things I think which is one of the biggest assets a human being can have is to learn about how to close deals. And today, if you are joining in here from different parts of the world or country, okay, I want you to just type in which city you are joining in from because today what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some amazing structures by which you will understand that why the traditional sales techniques does not work. Now look, if you are watching this video, I'm sure after some time you're going to be having food. Okay, every few hours we need food, right? And for that food you need money, and for that money you need to sell something, and you have to sell something. That's called the business. Okay, that's called the closing part of it. So if you want to know about how to instantaneously make a lot of business, if you are running a business, if you are a freelancer, entrepreneur, employee, or an employer, then this is something which brings the money, which brings that wealth, which brings that happiness, prosperity, salary, and all that power of purchase. Sounds good? So you might have learned all these structures and systems, but today I would like to probably take some of those myths out. Okay, so those people who have joined in right now, I want to just type in, which kind of industry you are from. Just type in, type it, type it. Let me see, how many of you guys are actually watching this. Type in which industry you are from and what is the biggest challenge in your conversions. What is the biggest challenge in your closing? So I had been into business for more than probably around 18 to 20 years right now with multiple companies. And by the way, this is a technique that I used every time, and I used certain things which was earlier it was a traditional thing, but I found that certain things does not work. So everything that I'm going to be talking to you are highly experienced, standardized, I have done myself, and then I'm talking to you. Probably the last couple of years I have done more than 10,000 calls, and with a total revenue I was able to start 4 companies on one single day. Yes, 4 companies on one single day. And to know more about it, probably we can talk later. But today, the topic that I'm going to talk to you is all about why traditional sales techniques does not work. Now, to jump into this question, I'm going to give you certain informations about the traditional techniques first. So, first of all, many a time I have seen, entrepreneurs and CEOs and CXOs, they have a training and learning and development units for the sales team, and they are constantly grilled with new informations, features, and product dynamics, and many other things. But the main ingredient is something where the conversion happens. I think that is something which is missed out. Now with the the customers and the prospects are more informed, they are able to read things. They have got Google, Wikipedia, WhatsApp, and plenty of social media groups and networking sessions where they can learn about it. There are associations, there are online places where exhibitions and all these things are now, because of this huge explosions of online and social media. I think every information is just a few seconds away from you. So you have more informed prospects, so you need to change those traditional structures of business closings and the conversations what used to happen. So let me tell you why the traditional sales techniques does not work. So first of all, let me emphasize on certain things called as memorizing. I have seen a lot of people, they memorize certain things. Okay, hey, this is my business, this happens and that happens, so A plus B plus C plus D, and this is how it happens, and they have a script and they keep on mugging this out. Look, when you're starting, it's good, but right now this is an era of customizations. Right now this is an era of people love to have tailor made, people love to have more personal connect. And when you are giving something like one size fit all structures, typically you are saying that you are just like any another guy. So it is a completely no structure. So I'm going to give you a very powerful systems, because if you are trying to memorize things, how much can you record? Okay, Alexa, Siri, and such kind of things can actually record 10 times, 20 times, much more than what exactly you can do. So soon the time will come probably when the traditional systems would be done by an artificial intelligence. If you don't believe in me, please type in out about AI Google's launch, when you will find that there was a communication between an actual customer and an artificial intelligence voice, and this was mind blowing. So memorizing does not work. So if you are into sales techniques, and if you are into somebody who is on the forefront, please make sure that you are not just memorizing, but you have got something by which you should be able to connect with that. So gone are those days where you have to talk about product features and demonstrations and structures and all, because right now the client has a high level of information, which they can get from any places. Number two is having a script. Now the script can work for you, but the script is something like, it's like fitting for everyone. And if you're starting your work, might be you are very new, you are just joined, might be that time it's good. But typically, I would tell you that there is a technique by which you can go scriptless. You can go without memorizing. You can actually get into that discussion, and you would be able to close a deal. And this is something that I teach in FEST. FEST is a short form of Finance Excellence Strategy Technocrats, where people learn about this ancient Vedic art, or probably those techniques by which our ancestors were able to close deals way before probably the rest of the world who were barbarians at that point of time, running behind wild animals. These people, our ancestors, were able to sell silk, masalas, gemstones. And understand, selling silk is not an easy. It's a insect made thread that has been woven out into fine stuff, and then it's like one of the finest apples that you can think of. And same thing with the masalas and stuff like that. But how did they do the business with such a huge distance? Type, Silk Route. Go and find out what is Silk Route. You will understand that Indian, the merchandising business was spread from Persia to the Mongolians, on land, off land, and this was fantastic. How did they came to know about such kind of amazing commerce, even though without knowing the language of the ancient world? How did these guys did this communication? How did that transactions happen? There are many other such kind of things which happens here. So my intention is not to give you those things, but I'm not telling you that there are certain things which are the foundation level. The traditional level is different, the foundation level is different. The foundation level is something which is the core foundations. These are the art, these are the geometry, these are the minimalistic things that you can try figuring out. So remember one thing: the human mind is a very, very old, primitive mind. It's like lakh of years old. It knows only two things: it knows survival, and it knows something called as sex. So when I say sex, I'm not talking about the sex. I'm talking about status. I'm talking about identity. I'm talking about valor and ego, and that the gender stuff and all those things. And this is what I'm talking about. So these are the structures. So if you are somebody who has deep understanding of the retail stuff, or be it business to business or anything, so these are some of the things of the traditional sales structures that you must avoid. Number one, stop memorizing. Number two, stop giving scripts. When I have seen some of the teammates, when they talk to their clients, they open a PowerPoint presentation and they are talking to the presentations, and this guy is just yawning. Okay, so PowerPoint presentation is absolutely something which is, there is a way, there is a structure, there is a system to do that, and there has to be something which is like a high level of engagements. There are structures by which you should not actually over challenge and over question them. There are certain things which I call it as finesse, and that's an art. Okay, so rather than being a pushy thing, a pushy salesman, there is a way, there is a structure. So here are a couple of things that you can do. So I'm going to introducing you to something called as the scientific closing. Scientific closing. So the scientific closing is something which is against the traditional. Traditional one is, hey, you should be like enthusiastic. You should say, hey, hello, good morning, how are you? How is your kids and all these things. Now that's a traditional way. But when you talk about scientific closings, these are purely designed based on standards and facts. So it says the first thing that you need to understand is you close by listening, not by your mouth. Okay, the more you observe, the more you understand, the more you connect, the more you are able to create that relationship. Okay, and this observative things, the more you are getting closer to the prospects. Number two is called as the stealth mode. So stealth mode is little slow. So the traditional sales people, they were like, super excited. Hey man, come on. Have you seen this probably, the taxis and the autos outside the railway stations? They will be like, come on, I'm going to bring you up there, and I'm going to take you there, and blah, blah. So come in my auto or my taxi and all these things. But right now it's all gone because of the internet boom and all these things. We have got many such kind of taxi providers and other stuff. But traditionally these were the hawkers. Okay, so right now the sales have become from hawkers to a very, very high level of professional stuff, and this is the only place where you can make an n amount of money. Okay, this is the only probably a profession where there is technically no limit. There is no limit for earning. That's why this is the best part. So stealth mode, what exactly is stealth mode? Stealth mode means going slow, understanding, flying low, and replying only when it is required. going slow, letting other people to talk more, express more, and engage more. And the third thing that I'm going to give it to you is called as super selective and eligibility. So what exactly is this? So if you are working on certain kind of deal which you feel that this is something which is not something which is good for your prospect, for your client, then be ready to give off, be ready to say no, be ready to say, okay, hey, look, I know you are trying good, but probably this deal is something which is not for our mutual help. I don't think so this is going to go. So be ready to say no, but it is not being taught in the traditional way. Traditional way is all about hitting the target, hitting, getting the maximum things without figuring out if this is a bad apple customer or not. So that's why I said, like, there are many such kind of things. Let me know how do you like about this. And by the way, I was just talking on one side. Let me know if you are able to grab all these things. Let me know which one of them is something that you like. Just just type in, and let me know which one did you like, and how do you talk about it. But I'm sure how many of you would love to know that how do you do all this stuff. So this is called as closer. Okay, this is called as a virtual closer. So how do you become a closer? So I'm going to give you three life hacks for becoming an amazing virtual closer. The first thing is you do not need a degree. Okay, if you have just a voice, if you can understand, if you can hear, and if you have little bit of a business sense, little bit of a the the commodity and the buying understanding, I think this is good. The second thing is you need a lot of patience. You need a, a lot of commitment, because this is something which is an art which you need to practice. This is a learnable art. Okay, there is a structure, there is a grammar to it. It is something that every one of us are born with. So you can learn this. So you need a commitment, you need a structure. And to know more about it, I'm going to give you certain things by which you can actually figure it out if you can do closing as well. So I have a structure which is called as virtual closing, which I'm doing in this Saturday. And I'm inviting you guys, and there is a special prize for you guys to join in. I can give you the links, but let me know how many of you would love to know about how exactly you can do. And this is something that you can do without leaving your present source of income, without sabotaging your other timings, and still you can make a lot of happiness. Okay. Uh, the third quality of a closer is about uh, focus and discipline. Focus and discipline. This is like very powerful things. Unless and until you are a disciple and you have a goal, and if you are not committed out there, the weapons, I call it as the tools, the sadhan, is not going to work out. So it needs a kind of a thorough discipline. So the discipline is actually very short period of time. It typically takes around less than 2 months for anyone to become a club class kind of a closer at a national level also, and it needs you to be super dedicated out there, because this is the only art. After that, probably you might not have to learn any goddamn. So that's very powerful. So what I'm going to talk to you is, see, closing is something which is the only part of the business that drives the entire world, entire economy, and all the human evolution. Closing is the only thing that brings you that money, that actually helps someone to get the solution and someone to provide the solution, and both of them are getting into harmony. This is the only place where the seller is happy, the buyer is happy, and you are also happy. So to know more about how do we do all these things, by the way, if you are joining late, let me tell you, my name is Amit Nath. I am the founder and a business catalyst, and I teach people how to close deals on a phone call, on a stage, and on one-to-one. By the way, this is something that I'm going to give it to you on this Saturday, this coming Saturday. I'm doing a kind of a session which is, I've given you the link there. It's called as virtualcloser.in, and there is a small ticket out there. And if you are somebody who wants to find out, like, how to take the steps to the next level, what are the kind of challenges and the things that you have right now, and how to get rid of that, how to give more time to your family and friends, how not to face that boring boss every day in your life, how to come out of the weekend blues, because I know some of the people who are working on agencies and IT companies and all these people. I know you are glued to the laptops and the screen. The moment you are coming out, there is someone going to ask you stuff. I know there is a lot of things that you can do. There's a lot of things you have to. You might be someone who is passionate to do certain things, but you might not have got this. I think this is one thing that you can definitely look into this. This is not just a Saturday session. It's going to be happening on 2 days. And it's got 4 sessions, and you can get a lot of other informations out there. Please click the link down there, and I'll be seeing you on the other side. By the way, let me know which one of those structures that we just discussed in terms of the scientific selling structures or the scientific closing structures is something that you like. Just type in with your with your industry, with your city, because I'm going to select some few people who are responding here. I'm going to give them a special gift. Okay, I'm going to give them a special gift. This is going to be personally. So the more people are there, as I said, like, I have created an amazing system by which you can connect with any B2B. You can technically engage with them without sounding pushy, salesy. And I'm going to give you 6 different structures. So if you want to grab that, I'm going to give you that link out there. And only, okay, once you are chatting, once you are commenting out there, I'm going to select the top 10, okay, the top 10 people, and I'm going to give it to them. Okay, so top 10, it's combined into all the different channels where we are broadcasting all these videos. So with that, I would take a leave right now, and stay tuned, because the next Tuesday I'm also going to give you a lot of uh, things on the closing steps. Okay, and I'm also going to reveal that B2B systems, like how you can network with anyone and everyone with the 6 amazing techniques which people probably might not know out there. So I'll see you on the side. Bye bye. Take care, and let me know how do you feel about it. Okay, just type in and say bye bye. Just type in and say bye bye, and tell about this. Participate and get your